Hi friends, this is Paul Ryan. In this video, I want to give you some insight into my planning of the Wednesday worship service for Animate Flex. I also want to give you some tips on how to execute this service in your own context. As I planned this service, the first thing that came to mind is space. Not the final frontier, but space as in worship space. This service was to be led in Hodges Chapel, which is a grand and ornate space with columns and high ceilings and a dome. And throughout the space, there are statues and frescoes of preachers and missionaries and scholars in the Protestant tradition. It's a space that makes one feel small, but also makes one sense the majesty and glory of God. So as I conceived of this service, I wanted to begin with capturing the beauty and majesty and mystery of God in his triunity, and also God in his creative and almighty power. But I also wanted us to have a sense of our finiteness, that we are not God, but also a sense of our fallenness because of our sin. Now, another aspect of this space is that it's a very resonant space. It's perfect for acoustic instruments and for the human voice. And so I knew right away that I wanted to make use of the organ. I wanted to use piano, unamplified. I wanted an acoustic guitar and some hand percussion throughout the service. But I also wanted to make use of a choir to lead through the entire service and to voice our songs and our prayers. Now, some thoughts about executing this service. You'll notice throughout the service that there are multiple opportunities to speak words of Scripture, to speak a call to worship, to speak words of assurance, and to speak a litany. Well, through the service, you might choose to have one single person, a host, who leads through all those different elements. But you could also decide to have multiple people serve throughout the service. Maybe you have one person who reads the call to worship and then gives God's greeting. Another person who reads the words of assurance from 1 Peter. And another person who might lead a litany of the prayer of St. Francis at the end. Another feature of this service is vocal leadership. Now, I certainly conceived of this service with a choir in mind, but perhaps you don't have a choir to lead in your community. Another thing you could think about is a smaller group, maybe an octet. Or you could lead the service with a quartet of singers. A quartet could easily lead the arrangement of Trinity Song, the anthem at the beginning. But then this quartet could also lead the verses for songs like Perdón, Señor, We Are Called, and Miren que bueno. You may also notice throughout this service that there are many songs that might be unfamiliar to your community. And maybe it's too many songs that are unfamiliar. Or you may find that some songs may be a little too difficult for your musicians to carry. Well, in the worship guide, I provided several options for you to choose from. And I hope that from that list, you'll be able to find songs that your community will be able to sing well together. And of course, as you are thinking about executing this service in your community, and if you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.